Welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, and today I'll be talking about the Suit of Cups. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. The best way to support the podcast right now is to listen daily, rate, review, and to follow or subscribe in your chosen podcast app. The next best way is to check out my Patreon. Supporting me there gets you early access to upcoming podcast episode topics, digital downloads I've created, monthly tarot hangouts, and the opportunity to submit a question about tarot or to request an individual tarot reading. The link is in the show notes to check that out. You can always go to my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot for all the latest information related to the podcast and to find images of the cards that I pull. If you're local to the greater Puget Sound area in Washington State, I'd love to see you at one of my Let's Talk Tarot meetup group events where we bring some of our favorite decks and play around with tarot and oracle decks together. Our next event is on February 24th at 5 p.m. at the Bonnie Lake Library. We'll be working on creating our own tarot cards. I'll bring all the supplies and guide you through the magical process. You can use the meetup link to check out further details on the event and RSVP. All right, so welcome to season 3 of the podcast. In the first season, I introduced tarot through talking about oracle versus tarot cards, myths of tarot, how to find a deck, reading for yourself versus others, and much more. In season 2, I went through the first 13 cards of the Major Arcana, one per episode, and now we're into season 3, where I went through the final 9 cards of the Major Arcana, and I'm talking about each suit. Since I finished going through all the Major Arcana cards, and the next couple episodes are all about the suits, and today I'm talking about the Suit of Cups. So common depictions of cups are kind of like it sounds like cups. Sometimes they look more like goblets. There's often a lot of water imagery as cups are seen as a water sign. So I know in my Anima Mundi deck, the cups are all depicted underwater, or at least associated with water. In the Four of Cups in the Anima Mundi deck, there's like a hermit crab curled up on the bottom of the what looks like the ocean floor, and there's cups sort of floating above, but in the water. With the Nine of Cups in the Anima Mundi deck, you see sort of some fish and like a coral reef, and then the 8 cups were sort of again floating in the water. And in the Anima Mundi deck for the Knight of Cups, there's a dolphin jumping out of the water, and a cup as a symbol, sort of floating in the air above the water there. In the Goddess of Love tarot deck, it also has cups as imagery and then water in all of this images. The water more looks like, I can't quite tell on some of the cards, I think it's the same background image, but it looks like when you look at the radar for like a hurricane above, like the weather radar for a hurricane, when you see that on the news where you get like the white spiral that's going in on itself and then sort of the blue water in the background. So I think that's sort of the background image for a lot of these cards. The Four of Cups, the cups are all sort of like vertically and horizontally positioned to form a square. In the Four of Cups image in the Goddess of Love tarot, there's lots of people in the Goddess of Love tarot for the cups, lots of like female figures like lying down, basking. There's one where like it looks like they're brushing their hair and like they're a mermaid. That's in the Seven of Cups. And again, lots of like ocean or water imagery. There's pearls, there's shells, and different things. There's some roses on all of the cards in that deck. And then in the Queen of Cups image, again, there's like a person sort of lounging or basking. You can't see their face, but there's a lot of roses. They're sort of superimposed on top of something. I can't quite tell what it is. Like it almost looks like a dove or a bird of some sort. Their feathers, but it makes it look like the person themselves has like wings, white wings. Yeah, it probably is a dove because there's other like doves in the upper part of the image. And again, some pearls, some pink roses. The person is wearing like a necklace, so maybe like a pearl necklace of some sort. And then there's a crown and a cup in the image, since it's the queen there. And like I said, in the Seven of Cups, this one, the person that's in it is like a mermaid. You can see they're like brushing out their hair, and the lower part of their body is very like blue and shimmery, and you can't really see legs. You just see sort of like a tail like looking thing. In the book Tarot and Astrology, Enhance Your Readings with the Wisdom of the Zodiac by Corinne Kenner, it talks about that cups hold the secrets of emotional matters, that cups are again associated with like the water element, the watery cards of emotion associated with deeply felt affairs. Cups can hold water, of course. You can also use cups to hold other liquids with emotional significance. We toast each other in celebration. We commune with others during religious ceremonies, and sometimes we even try to drown our sorrows. And when we get into the element associated with cups, it is water. And the water signs of the zodiac are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces that correspond to cups, the cards of relationships and emotional affairs. Cups, again, can hold water, the essence of life, or for that matter, any liquid that holds sentimental significance, such as wine or champagne. The connection to emotion is clear. We use cups to toast each other in celebration, to commune with others during religious ceremonies. Cups serve as a reminder that the well of human emotion runs deep. Just as the human body is 75% water, the human psyche is driven by an overwhelmingly emotional combination of needs, drives, and desires. In the Fearless Tarot book by Elia Adam, How to Give a Positive Reading in Any Situation, they talk about that again, the element of water symbolized by cups in the tarot. When cups appear in a reading, they reveal what is being felt. Cups cards lead you inward to understand your heart and feelings about particular people and situations. Cups also show pathways forward when working on relationships with others. They talk about that the suit of cups, again, your feelings and emotions. Feelings and emotions color how we experience our own realities. Feelings are fuel for whatever it is you are focusing on. In a reading, when cups cards come up, they can highlight strong feelings you're harboring and what is coloring your perception from within. Cups will always show how you are feeling, not necessarily what is really happening. Each of the court cards in the cup suit reveals a sensitive figure. Cup cards in a reading will also represent your most important relationships. When these cards appear, they can describe the different people in your life who elicit strong emotions in you. Sometimes cups cards show how you are interacting with others and how others are perceiving you. Their position in a spread can often bring clarity to the emotional sphere of your life. When cups appear, they ask you to look deeper beneath the surface to discover what feelings might be affecting your current concern. Cup cards always ask you to examine what emotions are influencing your perspective from within. Cups represent the basic human need to relate, to connect, and to feel loved. Although cups can signify relationships, friendships, and significant others, they can also highlight the emotions of individuals around you. Cups also describe the vibe you're giving off or that is permeating your environment. Cup cards bring information regarding your feelings to the surface so that you can understand them and channel them accordingly. In Gabby Herstick's tarot deck, the Goddess of Love Tarot in the Deck Guidebook, she talks about that cups, that if the swords are the goddess of love's mind, the pentacles the body, the wands her will, then the cups are her heart. The cups or chalices contain her depth and mysteries. In the tarot, the cups are associated with elemental water, the intuitive realms of the psyche and self, the unconscious, ecstasy, and lust. The cups ask you to expand your heart, to trust in your capability to love, and to remember your ability to heal. Heartache and sadness are reflected in this suit, but they speak to the vulnerability you must embrace if you want to truly live and love. Let's delve into the unconditional opening through magic, beauty, and sensuality. All right, so that's it for the meanings of the Cups cards. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what the cards have to say today. And as I pull a card, I'm going to be thinking about emotions, feelings, maybe what feelings I need to pay attention to right now, what situations are coming up this week, where we might benefit from thinking about it from the perspective of emotions or water energy. And I'm going to go ahead and pull from the Sasarabito Tarot deck by Sassia Burrington. All right, so I pulled the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So I'm going to read the upright and then we'll read the reversal, and I'll go ahead and try to interpret what I think that means in relation to the Cups suit today. So the Ten of Pentacles, again, tens are generally about completion, reaching sort of the end of a journey. If the aces are the beginning or the Fool of the suits, then the tens are sort of the wrap up or the culmination. So this is the Ten of Pentacles, wealth, success, and stability. This is a card of great fortune and prosperity. It commonly shows a nuclear family, affluent and secure. The author said, they've illustrated a somewhat silly ideal to me, grouping of a couple plus a canine companion finding strength and balance. This card signifies having made it materially and enjoying stability and comfort. As the 10 in the suit of pentacles, this card comes after trials, hardship, work, and effort, and is the end result of a material journey. Again, pentacles, which will be in the last suits episode, are earth energy, material goods. So we have to think about this in relation to the material journey. As such, it can indicate retirement, settling down. This is also a card of convention and conservatism, finding security, and of course, wanting things to remain the same. This card underscores the value of family, extended and adopted, and tradition. It says, fully enjoy this space and recognize that your success, while in part because of you, is also due to something bigger. All right, so that's the upright interpretation of the card. So we're going to read the reversal and sort of see how this relates in the context. So it says, something is getting in the way of a secure and prosperous upright meaning of the card. The foundations are not quite in place for retirement or taking a major step in an enterprise or relationship. And there's a quote with this card that I'm going to read. It says, walking, I am listening to a deeper way. Suddenly all my ancestors are behind me. Be still, they say. Watch and listen. You are the result of the love of thousands, by Linda Hogan, a Native American author. So again, if we think about this in the context of feelings and emotion and watery energy, the psyche, it sort of sounds like we're trying to reach that success, right? We're trying to reach that foundational, that balance point, perhaps the culmination of something, or like the idea of sort of retirement or being in this like realm of success, but something is not quite there yet, or not quite right, or something's not in place. Again, if we think of like a literal foundation for like a house or a building, right, you have to really make sure that all the brickwork or the concrete or the gravel beneath the greenhouse at my house is all compacted and the stones are ready before you place the structure, because otherwise it can be out of balance, or it can shift over time, or it can just not quite be ready to hold a lot of weight. So yeah, I think this card is telling us that, like, we're on our way, we're getting there. Maybe we're working towards embracing and feeling all of our emotions and allowing them to come up and learning how to process them. But we still have a little bit more to learn, or we still have a little bit more to practice before we reach this place where it feels maybe natural or balanced or really available to us. All right, so links for the tarot decks that I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or find where to purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. All right, see you soon. Bye bye.